Hey, all right, so in this video, I wanted to talk about to whom are you listening to? Now, this actually can apply to anything really when it comes to the internet, right? But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to focus on natural hair. So, to whom are you listening to? So, here's the thing. In previous videos, I talked about, just the 5 main products that you need for your hair. I talked about the 5 main steps you need to take on wash days. I talk about breakage. Talked about why your hair feels dry and why sometimes you need to do what works for your hair because we all live in different areas, right? And I also in that same video I talked about the reason why sometimes I can try a product and it works really well for me, but for you it might not work. Or sometimes I might try a product and it completely sucks, but for you it might work for your hair, right? Because obviously there are different reasons why we have the issues that we have with our hair. So to whom are you listening to? This isn't gonna be a long video, very quick. Just wanted to say quick things when it comes to seeking for natural hair advice online. So I have a Facebook page, with members close to 10,000, and I do live videos, every so often. And I have ladies, leave comments and go, oh, I've tried all sorts of things to my hair, I'm so confused, I'm overwhelmed, and you know, I've been battling with dry hair for 5 years, 7 years, 13 years, and whatnot, right? So I'm thinking, okay, but at the same time you have so much information online, right? So how come we're still having this same issue, right? And here's the thing, as a naturalista myself, I read hair tips, watch hair videos, and I have noticed that sometimes one advice sometimes conflicts the other advice, right? So sometimes I might read a you know blog post that talks about co-washing. You need to co-wash your hair to have soft hair, and then I read the next blog post which talks about, oh, stop co-washing. That's why you have dry hair, and why your hair feels hard all the time. Start using shampoo, right? So it's like, oh my gosh, like who should I listen to and what should I do, right? So here's the thing. In the video where I talked about 3 main reasons why you have dry natural hair and also 3 main reasons why you have breakage, I talked about one key thing, which is your environment, right? Here's the thing, right? For a lot of naturals, depending on your environment, sometimes your environment can be favorable to your hair, that it doesn't matter what you use in your hair, it doesn't matter what you do to your hair will thrive, right? But then you have a natural living in an environment that's dry, and it's not favorable to their hair, right? And so what's going to happen is that, the products that you recommend, the techniques that, that you go online and you try it in your hair, it just does not work, right? So when we're taking advice online, we always have to make sure that, okay, what is the circumstance that I'm in? Also, another thing is that most YouTubers obviously have access to, every single natural hair product that's out there because a majority of them are made in the US, right? So if you're a YouTuber, a blogger, and you live in the US, you have access to all these products you can try in your hair. But if you happen to live outside of the US, whereby natural products can be hard or sometimes really impossible to find, or even sometimes more expensive, right? So it's like, okay, I really want to go natural and stay natural, but I don't have access to all these great products that I see on Instagram. And and sometimes they can be 4 times or 5 times the price of a regular hair product which I was using on my relaxed hair. So what should I do, right? So that's where sometimes like a lot of doctors who just DIY, just make their own, deep conditioning treatment, make their own moisturizer, and just keep their hair healthy. And another thing that I also want to mention is that some ladies have hair that just grows like weed, right? Like how, like, let's say you have a garden or like a yard or grass, and then and you pour like fertilizers, you water it, you mow your lawn, and you take care of it, right? And sometimes like let's say like you went on vacation and then you come back, right? And then what happens, like you have weed growing in your lawn, right? Like obviously, like you didn't go to the store to buy like a weed seed, right? Like you just went on vacation for a week or 2 weeks, you came back and you have weed all over your lawn, right? Like this isn't even something you planned for, this isn't something you asked for, this is something you prayed for, you just have it, right? And it works the same way with some ladies, right? Like their hair just grows on its own, right? It doesn't matter what product they use, even doesn't matter their hair technique. They can actually comb through their hair every single day, like even, be fast about it, rush through it, go through, you know, from twist out to bantu knot and just change up their hairstyle every single day, and then, they're able, to retain length and to maintain healthy hair, right? So sometimes when it comes to length heavy, right, we think, okay, so this person started the natural hair journey like the same day that I started, or 2 years 2 years after I started, and look at their hair now, right? It's way longer than mine, right? So, and that's because sometimes for some ladies, like they don't even need to do anything to their hair. And I've read some blog posts where some ladies are like, just leave your hair alone, stop doing so much to it, and it'll grow on your own. And then you have some other ladies going, oh, do this 10 things to your hair so your hair can grow, right? So it's okay, what should I do, right? And it's obviously because for some ladies, they can leave their hair for 2 weeks and then come back and it's like weed, like I said, right? Like it just grows on its own without doing much to it, right? Whereas for some, right, like, we have to spend more time caring for our hair to be able to see the results that we are looking for, right? Because obviously we have different, many two things, right? We live in a different environment, and also our genes are different, right? So if you have a gene whereby your hair goes really fast, like on its own, right? And then you live in an environment that favors natural hair, that favors Afro hair, right? Because obviously the country that we all came from, right? As Black people, it's warm, right? Like it's not freezing cold, like it's favorable to our hair, right? So, and if you live in those environments, then obviously you're more able to retain length. And also, thirdly, depending on how well you take care of your hair, right? So, and I mean, I've also talked to naturals who actually do, everything they're supposed to do to their hair, right? In terms of caring for it, but somehow their hair isn't turning out like, the hair of their YouTuber, right? And it's because sometimes, like all fingers are not equal, their genes might be different, and also they might be living in a different environment that just favors their hair. And also it depends on the hair texture as well, right? So some hair texture, so I talked about hair typing, so make sure you check out that video. So um some hair textures, right, it are more tolerant, right? Some hair textures are more tolerant, whereas some hair textures you have to treat them like silk, right? So it all depends on what you have, right? So for example, let's say you have a family member whose hair grows, like wheat, like I mentioned, like it grows really fast, it grows really long, it's healthy, and this family member, obviously doesn't eat healthy. This family member isn't active, and or even, they might even use cheap products on their hair, or they might not even watch YouTube at all, right? Like they just do the basics to their hair. And here you are, you have to do all these things to your hair every single day, and then, and then this family member's hair is like way longer than yours, right? So this is why, like in the past couple of years, like a lot of YouTubers and even bloggers are telling naturals to just do what works for their hair. And the only way you can know what works for your hair is to study your hair, right? Study your hair, know the environment you're in, know the kind of genes that you have, so like how fast does your hair grow, how much hair do you retain as well. You can try, maybe braiding your hair for, like every single month for a period of 3 months, and then leaving your hair out for a period of 3 months, and just track and see how much hair you're able to retain. And so how should you take care of your own personal hair? So when it comes to, to whom are you listening to, right? So when researching for hair tips online, you always want to take your own hair environment and genetics into consideration, because all these three things will have an effect on how your hair responds to certain techniques or even products, and also how much length you're able to retain, and also how fast your hair grows, right? Okay, so any question about this video, leave it in the comment section below. And just to let you know, I've created a 7 days moisture retention regimen for ladies looking to retain length and also to retain moisture. If that sounds like you, just click on the link, below this video to get your free copy. Yeah, it's completely free. So just click on the link below to get your free copy, and I'll see you in the next video.